Hello everybody. Today we will discuss the punching press and flywheel. Punching press and flywheel. I will also send you the theory material of this article, and that may be treated in lecture number 4. So the figure of punching press is like this. With the help of this figure, this article can best be understood. In the previous articles, we have seen that the input torque or the input work done of the engine was varying. It was varying cyclically. You have seen T theta diagram. T theta diagram is nothing but turning moment diagram of the engine. There were fluctuations. There were fluctuations in the turning moment diagram, that is T theta diagram. Sometimes it was, as you have seen in case of 4-stroke engines, in suction stroke, the energy generated by the engine was with minus sign. In compression again, I again draw it for you. The turning moment diagram of 4-stroke engine was like this. The turning moment diagram for 4-stroke engines was like this. T theta diagram was like this. T theta diagram of 4-stroke engine was like this. This was the theta. In case of suction stroke, negative energy loop was generated. This is the suction stroke from 0.2 this, that is pi, and it was again 2 pi, 3 pi and 4 pi. It was 4 pi. In the suction stroke, the turning moment was with negative sign. It means the energy generated by the engine was below the mean resisting torque line. In case of compression stroke also, the work was done on the gases and the turning moment diagram was found below the mean resisting torque line. This is the turning moment diagram, this area. But when the crank rotates from 2 pi to 3 pi, which is known as power stroke, the work generated by the engine was found in excess, and the work generated by the engine was above the mean resisting torque line. Suppose this is the T mean. T means mean resisting torque line. The work generated by the engine was found to be positive. It is taken with positive sign, or the energy generated by the engine is considered to be positive when the work generated by the engine is above the mean resisting torque line. You see, in one stroke only, that is the power stroke, the energy generated by the engine was found above the mean resisting torque line. I told you, engine will run only when the energy generated by it is above the mean resisting torque line. Otherwise, it will not run. Engine cannot run if the energy generated by it is below the mean resisting torque line. It will not function. Engine will run only when the energy generated by the engine is above the mean resisting torque line, as in case of power stroke. So for rest of the strokes, that is suction, compression and exhaust, the energy generated by the engine was found below the mean resisting torque line. But how it runs? We have seen in all the 3 strokes, suction, compression and exhaust, the energy generated by the engine was below the mean resisting torque line. Still it functions. It can function only when this amount of energy which is generated during the power stroke is distributed among these three idle stocks, as I told you in the very beginning of the lecture. The energy generated during the power stroke was distributed among the three idle stocks. And this is the reason why a flywheel is mounted on the engine. That excess amount of energy is absorbed by the flywheel, and it is given to rest of the three stocks to reduce the variations in the speed because of the variations in the turning moment of the engine. This curve represents the power input of the engine. You see, in this case, the input torque, you can say, the input torque of the engine is varying cyclically, and by the application of flywheel, the output torque is tried to be made uniform, or it is tried to be made constant, and then and only then the engine runs at uniform or constant speed. If flywheel is not mounted, here the speed of the engine will be very, very small, here very, very small, and in this particular area the speed of the engine will be very, very high. So there will be fluctuations and variations in the speed of the engine because of the variations in the turning moment of the engine. So turning moment of the engine is the power generation by the engine. So that power is absorbed by the flywheel. This is the reason why flywheel is known as energy reservoir. It distributes the energy among all the three idle stocks to minimize the variations in the speed of the engine. So thus my intention or contention to explain through this figure is only that in case of engines or IC engines, it is the input torque or the work done by the engine which is varying. Input, not the output. By means of application of flywheel or by mounting flywheel on the crankshaft of the engine, our aim is to make the output torque constant so that the engine can run at constant speed. I take a reverse case to that. In case of punching press or riveting machine, the input torque or the work done by the engine is constant, but the output torque is varying cyclically. Output torque is varying cyclically. Input torque is constant, input torque of the engine is constant, and the output torque of the engine is varying. That is the reverse case. In case of punching press and riveting machine, I explain it. It is an electric motor which is connected to electric motor is giving supply. It runs at constant speed, at constant power also, and the power is given to the crankshaft by means of gears. So T is the thickness of the plate which is to be punched. It is a punch and it is the die. You have seen this type of operation. Now, initial position of the crank is indicated by, suppose this is O. Initial position of the crank is OA. Initial position of the crank is OA, and the respective or the corresponding connecting rod position is shown by A dash, shown by black pen. OA is the initial position of the crank. A dash is also the corresponding position of the connecting rod. It is connected to the punch. This is the plate which is to be punched. The thickness of the plate is T, and this is the die. The angle made by OA, with the vertical line is theta 1. You see in the figure, it is theta 1. It is the initial position, theta 1. or you can say the crank rotates from vertical position to OA position by angle theta 1. When crank rotates from OA to OB position, this is OB position, this position is OB. The connecting rod, the respective or the corresponding position of the connecting rod is shown by B, B dash. In this position, the punch has already entered inside the plate. Actually, it can best be understood if we compare it with the slider crank mechanism. Here, in case of the slider or the piston, there is punch. In case of slider crank mechanism, the slider is replaced by a punch. Slider crank mechanism. I have drawn the figure of slider crank mechanism several times. So, initial position of the crank is OA. When the crank rotates in the clockwise sense like this, the next position or the displaced position of the crank is OB, and OA makes angle theta 1 from the vertical line. When the crank makes angle theta 2, that is theta 2, in that position, the punch has already entered into the plate which is to be punched. That position of the connecting rod is shown by B, B dash. Initial position of the crank is AB, and the B, B dash is the position during punching operation. So, when the crank rotates in the clockwise sense from here by angle theta 1, no punching is taking place. The punching starts only when crank OA starts rotating from OA to OB. The crank is rotating from OB to, the punching is taking place from OA to OB. That is the punching operation. From OB to, when theta is equal to 360 degree or 0 degree, no punching operation is taking place, and that position is known as idle position, ideally, or idle stroke. Or you can say, when the crank rotates from OA to, crank is rotating like this, it goes to theta is equal to 0, again it goes to theta 1. So from theta 2 to theta 1 position, no punching operation is taking place, and there is no extra load. The load on the engine is from the rotation of crank from A to B position. It means from angle theta 2 to theta 1. That is, or you can say this angle is known as theta 2 minus theta 1. So punching operation is taking place for this much angle of the crank rotation. I think it is clear to everybody. Suppose E1 is the energy required for one punching operation. E1 is the energy required for one punching operation, and sigma S is the maximum shear stress of the plate material which is to be punched. Sigma S, maximum shear stress. D is the diameter of the hole to be punched, D diameter. Then maximum shear force will be sigma S pi D into T. T is the thickness of the plate which is to be punched. So this is the shear stress and this is the area. So that much is the shear force into area will be the maximum shear force. Stress into area will be the force. So average energy for punching operation will be average, because I have taken the word average, so it will be 1/2 into Fs into T. The energy required for one punching operation will be 1 by 2. Average energy will be 1 by 2 force into distance. That is, T is the thickness of the plate. Fs, you can know, this is the Fs, shear force, into T thickness. So 1 by 2 Fs into T will be the average energy required to punch a hole. Suppose E2 is the energy supplied by the motor for punching one hole. This is the energy. E1 is the energy required for punching one operation. E1 is the energy required for one punching operation. That is right. That is the average energy. E2, what is E2? Energy supplied by the motor for punching one hole. And E2 is required for the crank rotation from theta 1 to theta 2. So net change in angle will be theta 2 minus theta 1 for complete rotation of the crank. For complete rotation of the crank, that is theta 2 minus theta 1. So E2 can be expressed like this. E2 can be E1 theta 2 minus theta 1 by 2 pi.